Tasman Archer, sleeping satellite. Shapur Kotwal is deputy editor of the Autocar India magazine, editor WhatCar magazine. Here he is for another one of his reviews.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
What's up, Shapur? How are you?
Hey, what's happening?
The Ford Aspire has got a makeover, new look, new engines, new gearboxes, also additional kit. But fundamentally, how much has this improved the compact sedan?
Well, let's just say that before this update, the Ford was not competitive in some areas and pretty competitive in others. And what this has done is it's leveled out the playing field. It's got a much nicer cabin. It's got that vital, very important touchscreen. You get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so it feels nice and modern. You don't feel you're missing anything. And then that allows you to drive that allows you to enjoy its driving manners much more.
Now, let's talk about the looks of it. There aren't many changes to the rear, but there's a lot more bling. The lower part of the chin finished is black. It just looks sportier, doesn't it?
It looks sportier. It looks more expensive. It looks cleaner. And it's a good update. Sometimes you have these facelifts where you have to ask yourself, is that car really different? Let me see, where is it? But this one you really can tell in 1 second that it's quite a serious upgrade, and they've done well. It's also an attractive. It's also a step up in attractiveness, so it looks nicer.
What's it like on the inside, buddy? I noticed that there's a 6.5-inch touchscreen, and that's quite cool.
Yeah, it's a very functional, slick touchscreen. It's easy to use. Most of the time, if you have your cable with you, you tend to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and that really does add to the whole experience of interactive connectivity. And in this car, it's just the slickness of the system that helps. And from not having a touchscreen at all up until now to suddenly getting one of the best ones around, that's a big jump up. The
dials have been upgraded too, so you get a carbon fiber like texture.
Yeah,
much more nicer.
Much nicer. Because the earlier one was again bland. It was designed almost for a different age, and today you have something much more attractive. They've really spruced up the cabin sufficiently. It's always been pretty practical, nice comfy front seats, decent amount of legroom in the back, big door pockets, practical to put stuff, nice big glove box. And what helps is that it's got a solid build. The car, it feels tough. I mean, it's not as tough as some of the earlier Fords, which were really tank like, but with today's focus on fuel economy and emissions, they have to lighten their cars a bit. But this is still much more solid feeling than any of the Japanese cars.
Shapur's on Twitter at Shapur K. Great man to follow. Carly Ray Jepsen, call me maybe. Back in a bit. Carly Ray Jepsen, call me maybe. Shapur Kotwal with a review of the new upgraded Ford Aspire 2018.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So, what's it like to drive? They call it the newly naturally aspirated Dragon engine, and it makes its debut, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the first time this engine, which is actually made entirely in India, they put it under the hood of the Aspire. It made its debut in the EcoSport, and the amazing part, Hrishi, is that we have a lot of 3 cylinders in our market, but very, very few of them, almost none of them, are that smooth that you can't make out they're just 3 cylinders and not 4, because a 3-cylinder engine is naturally unbalanced. So you've got to balance it after that, and with counterweights and stuff. And Ford have done such a good job. I had a colleague of mine, I reminded him at the end of the drive that and it's a 3-cylinder, and he looked at me and he said, oh yeah, it's a 3-cylinder, so he'd forgotten about it completely. It's that smooth. So that's a huge benefit, where you can give an engine with one less cylinder, but you don't feel that sort of rotty or the thrummy nature of that engine. So big step up there. Unfortunately, the initial acceleration on this car, on the new petrol, the 1.2, isn't too hot. It takes its time to get going. But once you're on the mid-range and once you rev it a bit harder, it does feel like it has all the power you need, and it's nice, and it's got a sporty note to it, and it's pretty enjoyable to drive.
Now, obviously, in the diesel at higher engine speeds, it will get a little noisy, isn't it?
It will. The diesel is, of course, a bit noisier. Inherently, diesels are noisier. But this 1.5 diesel is really the stronger engine of the two, and it's actually the nicer one to drive. Also, of course, it's more efficient, but it's also much nicer to drive. It's much punchier. The power comes in from just 1500 RPM, and you put your foot down, and it's an absolute delight to drive. What makes the package complete is that Ford over the years have made some of the best drivers' cars. They're the nicest cars to drive in corners, nicest cars with a lovely steering. You feel at home with the car, even at a certain speed, and that makes it so much nicer, the interaction with the car. So this Aspire, again, in its class, is clearly the best car to drive, and the upgraded cabin just goes beautifully with it together.
How's the stability? I mean, in terms of the suspension, high-speed stability as well as the one at lower speeds in our city roads?
I think the ride is pretty good. It may not be amongst the best, but it absorbs a lot of the bumps, and even at speed, it's pretty stable. You do get a bit of up and down movement at speed once you're if you hit a certain amount of expansion joints or stuff. But overall, they've done a fantastic job with the ride and handling.
Shapur, your website, please.
Autocarindia.com, and you can find the best news and reviews in the car industry.
Messages in back. Bruno Mars, Cardi B, it's Finesse, a last leg of conversation with Shapur Kotwal. He's Deputy Editor, Autocar India Magazine, Editor, WhatCar Magazine. This is the Ford Aspire 2018 review.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So there is a petrol, there is a diesel, and there's also an automatic.
Yes, there's an automatic. It's a new, more conventional automatic this time around. Earlier they had this twin clutch, which wasn't very good, but they've got this the conventional auto, the same as you get on the EcoSport. And it also has the EcoSport's 1.5 engine, much larger engine. The earlier one we were talking about was the 1.2 Dragon. This is the 1.5 Dragon, and it has
codename Tiger.
Yeah, that's the diesel.
That's the diesel. Okay.
That's the diesel. Yeah.
So the diesel is codename Tiger. Fine,
yeah. So the 1.5 petrol is also the Dragon, same series, absolutely completely made in India, and it gets a 123 horsepower. So that should be interesting. We're waiting to drive the car, in fact, and we'll let you know when we do.
Well, they're obviously looking to undercut their rivals, so it's a very competitive pricing.
Yeah, they've dropped their pricing between 20 and 40,000 on average, or maybe a bit more for some models, and that makes it a bit more competitive as well. So yeah, if you're in for a compact sedan and you're driving yourself, this is a car to look out for.
But you obviously will advise people to try the diesel before making up their mind.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Completely.
Yes.
Okay, your TV show timings, buddy.
9:30 Sunday morning. Times now. Best time to watch the Autocar India show.
Shapur, thanks a lot for your time and your patience, and see you soon. Yep. Kelsey Ballerini, vocalist, the Chainsmokers producers. This one's called This Feeling.